Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. The Hobonichi order is here and I have a pretty big box, so let's get into it. I placed my order on September 1st in like 9 a.m. Eastern time because I did also go through the whole Hobonichi fiasco with the server going down and everything, just like probably most of you. But I was able to get the order after the many hours. Before we begin, I strongly suggest you use timestamps in this video. Ooh, okay. I have an explanation for this. I got 10 of these A5 plain grid notebooks. And then we have this. Ooh, very pretty. I'm really glad that my box is so pretty and pristine compared to some other boxes that I've seen. It is a beautiful baby blue this year and brown. We had a little sticker and I did cut it open. Ooh, before you think of anything, write, "That made me happy." Don't ask yourself what made you happy until afterward. Then write down the answer, even if you really have to dig for one. You can also try "That made me sad" or "That was delicious." Safety matches morning and evening talks. Okay, that's cute. I like that because it's kind of like write down your initial reaction so you remember the moment and then evaluate your feelings afterwards. Okay. Ooh, I'm excited. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm gonna have to explain the notebooks to you guys, but I got some more of the A5 plain grid ones. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. I was standing and I was pretty close to my microphone, and now I'm sitting because I really want to get into this. So if you were counting, please don't judge me, but we have 5 of these one here and 10 of these, so that makes 15 of these plain notebooks. Essentially, I have been struggling all year with the Hobonichi Cousin paper, the new Sanzen paper. It really doesn't work for me. I think some people just got lucky with good paper, potentially. And for my experience, I'm actually not experiencing feathering or bleed through, which are pretty main complaints that I've been hearing about the new Sanzen paper. My only complaint is the drag, the extra drag of my fountain pens that wasn't there before with the old paper. And it wouldn't bother me, but it gives me like hand cramps and carpal tunnel. And I've been so frustrated with my notebook because every 5 or 10 pages I'll be using the exact same pen, but the next day it is so dry and difficult to write with, and I don't want to have to pay attention to my pen that I pick for today. I want to be able to just pick up the pen and write. And apparently I just journal a lot because I don't really notice it in the smaller notebooks. I can kind of notice it in the A6, but I don't really journal in the A6. And in the Hobonichi Weeks, I still have the old version, the paper from 2024 in the January start. The Weeks was still the old paper. So I reached out to Hobonichi for this release, and they responded saying that they're not able to tell us anymore if this is the original Tomoe River paper or Sanzen. So I kind of took a leap of faith and ordered all of these to test if it's gonna be the same paper or not. And if it's not, I'll just sell it. But there was a little moment of panic where 2 days before September 1st or August 31st, found out from somebody on Instagram that Barnes & Nobles actually carries these notebooks now. So if you're in the US, you might be able to find this botanical plain notebook and this grid, the yellow one. You might be able to find these in your Barnes & Noble. They're $33, which is insane. I mean, buying them from Hobonichi Direct, I think it was like $11, $12, or $13. It might be more now because of the recent price increase, and that's a whole drama thing that I don't really want to get into. Hobonichi increased their price on September 6th, if you did not know. They increased their prices from launch day. The prices were lower, and then they realized there was a currency conversion mistake from their website, so their prices have gone up. So if you haven't placed your order around launch day, then if you're trying to go and buy your notebooks now, or like for the One Piece launch in October, you might run into higher price on your products. Anyways, but even at like retailers like Atlas Stationers or Jet Pens or Yosaka, these notebooks are going for 22 or 24. So not 33 in Barnes & Noble. I don't know what the heck is going on there. Anyways, I went to Barnes & Noble and I brought my Hobonichi Weeks to compare, but I was kind of just standing in the store rubbing the paper, and I was devastated because these papers did not feel the same as the one in my Hobonichi Weeks. Devastated. I know, like, I should embrace the whole old Tomoe River paper is gone. I understand that. It's just that, like, I was so distraught about my Hobonichi cousin not really working for me this year, and then I tried the Sterling ink, which also has Sanzen paper, but to me, the Sterling ink paper is actually even worse for just the drag, like nothing else. Probably a very personal opinion, but just like the way that the pens feel on a paper, the way that they glide on a paper. Like in 2021, that's when I first joined Hobonichi. No, 2022 is when I first joined Hobonichi, and I remember being so in awe of fountain pen on that paper that it would make me excited every single morning trying to write and journal. But now I'm like cursing at my paper. Like I have journal entries cursing at my paper. Anyways, for anybody who's kind of like, oh, she's being dramatic, it's just paper, please know that that can be your opinion, but this is my opinion and my experience. Like, it's possible that I got a different batch from you of the new Sanzen paper, and like I am trying. I gave it a shot and I'm continuing to give it a shot. Like, I'm completing my Hobonichi cousin for the year. I just kind of figured, oh, I'm gonna take a gamble to see if this is the new paper or the old paper. And if it's the old paper, then I get to have like 5 years worth for my planners. Then I can like really settle into the fact that I no longer have extra smooth paper to write with, and I'll figure out where I want to go from there. But that's kind of my 2025 plan. I want to use 2 of these notebooks and DIY my own version of the Hobonichi cousin. That's enough of a spiel for that. I'm gonna move on to unboxing the other items. Okay, this one I'm really excited about, and it was also the bane of my existence because they only sold it on the Japanese website. So it made it so difficult during the server crash fiasco to not just like quit and go to a different retailer because this wasn't gonna be available anywhere else. And at some point it actually, well, it sold out and then it restocked later, but when it sold out I was kind of like, okay, never mind, I'm not doing any Hobonichi this year. I'm giving up on the whole like gamble at the paper thing too. And honestly, the server crashing didn't bother me that much because I wasn't that stressed because I was already kind of giving up on Hobonichi. So that's my perspective, but here we are. The site came back on and I bought it, so who am I to talk, right? But this is so adorable. He reminds me of Pooh. I feel bad because I don't know anything about Paddington, but when I first saw it I actually thought it was Winnie the Pooh, and then I looked closer, but he's still really freaking cute. Okay, I've been watching Hobonichi unboxings for the last 2 days, and I think the insert is really creepy. Like, what is that? The mystery of Techo Mask. Oh, Techo Mask can be seen flying around the world. What kind of world awaits you? Don't be afraid to explore the ancient caverns of yore. I don't want to read all of it in case you guys want to read it yourself when you get yours, but I think it's super creepy. Is this supposed to be like Peter Pan? Or no, Ghosts of Christmas Past, Present, and Future? I don't know. It's really creepy to me. Oh, the back of the notebook is really cute. I really like the sketchy sketch design. Paddington Bear, Paddington and Company Limited, 2024, from the Paddington books by Michael Bond, illustrated by Peggy Fortnum. Awesome. Hobonichi is debossed into the back. Nice. The spine is the part that really got me. It says, please look after this bear. Thank you, 2025. And the front of the cover, we have gold foil kind of pressed in, and then this sketch of Paddington with a little hat and a bag. My notebook is bent a little bit, but that's okay. The texture is kind of a plastic linen texture. It reminds me of library books. I hope that was intentional. Oh, wow. It smells like a library book too. I love the Hobonichi pattern on the inside of the weeks. We have our cover page, the monthly or the yearlies, the year. We have our months starting in December. In case you guys don't know what the Hobonichi Weeks looks like, we're just gonna flip through it real quick. It goes all the way until January, February, March of 2026. Then it gets into the weeklies, and it starts on November 25th this year. So you get a whole month of planning basically in your weeklies. I don't know why they do that. I've just been using it to swatch like my ink vent during December. They use a cream paper for the Hobonichi Weeks. It doesn't feel terrible. I did notice when I took my Hobonichi Weeks to Barnes & Nobles to compare, it was much smoother than the notebook. So that's when I got devastated, thinking all the notebooks have already switched over to the new paper. But then I came home and I compared the Hobonichi Weeks paper to my cousin, and cousin was so much more rough than the Weeks. So I don't know why they have different paper textures. I think it might be because of the cream versus the white. I don't know. Once we get past all of the Weeks layouts, we get to this little page, and it has stuff in Japanese. This is like a page to show you abbreviations that you can use. And then there's a notes page with the tables of contents. And we have a bunch of graph paper that is numbered. Flip into here, we always have this like body measurements health page, and then my 100. So you can kind of write whatever you want for 100 things for a year. Oh, this is new. That's cute. I don't know what this is. This is really cute though. Oh, this is a little different too. I'm gonna have to like slowly translate some of this from Japanese. And then they have little explanations of holidays, I believe. And then of course the back pages, including the charts for determining people's ages, your measurements, more stuff about Hobonichi store, a contacts page, and that. Never know what this number is. And we have our little thing to stick on the cover so that you can store extras in your notebook. What's this? Please look after this bear. Thank you. Oh, that's really cute. Paddington debuted in the children's book A Bear Called Paddington, published in 1958. It tells the story of a bear cub that goes from Peru and finds himself all alone in England before going to live with the Browns. He wears a trademark red hat and blue coat and loves marmalade sandwiches. He regularly writes letters to his Aunt Lucy, who lives in the home for retired bears, and that's really cute. I'm gonna have to look into Paddington more. I feel ashamed that I got the notebook just because it was cute and I don't know anything about him. We're gonna pack this one away so that we have a fresh notebook for 2025. Actually, no, we're not. We are going to test the paper because I have been hearing issues with the 2025 paper, but now I'm wondering, because of the Weeks being cream, is it gonna be okay compared to like the Hobonichi cousin? And I didn't get any of those this year. So this is the pen that came with as a gift from buying the Hobonichi Weeks. For the other notebooks, you would also get a little notebook freebie, but I didn't need to. I was at first like roped in, like I need to buy an A6 or something just to get that little notebook freebie, but I don't think that was worth it. So what this reminds me of is the Sailor Line Friends Sally fountain pen. Do you see it? I see it. I don't really like these jet streams. I gave away the last few that I had, but since this is the only color and it kind of reminds me of the Sally pen, and I don't have the Sally pen because I want to get it at a pen show because I heard pen shows have a good deal on that pen. So this might be like a nice little stand-in. Plus, I need to try this pen in the new paper. New paper as in like 2025 Sanzen. People have been saying that there's feathering and bleed through. We'll see. This is really exciting. I wasn't gonna get any of this. The notebooks and this were all fluff to get me to free shipping because I just wanted the Paddington. I know that sounds so ridiculous, but you know how you get on the Hobonichi website and you get on with the hype and then you start shopping around and everything's cute. Well, to justify it, I was like, I have a cover for my A5, I have a cover for my A6, I have a cover for my other A5, but I don't have a Hobonichi Weeks cover. And right now, I have it inside of my traveler's notebook, but I don't really like it because I had to like slip it into the first band here. And it's smaller than this cover, so it kind of just flaps around. It's just not that great. I don't really like it. So to justify it for myself, I told myself I could get this Hobonichi Weeks cover and it would last me for years to come. Just like those plain grid notebooks that I bought that supposedly are supposed to last me for years to come. So that's why I didn't just buy the Paddington notebook. Oh, this is pretty. Oh, wow, okay. Come on, dust bag. Oh, this is an interesting texture. It's very dry. Wow. It is just like the Liberty Fabrics Weeks cover. I mean, this is the Liberty Fabrics Holly Hawks in orange, I believe. And it is very bright. Very light and pastel, but also bright at the same time. It's a very, very dry fabric. I don't know what I was expecting, but we have a leather strap. I don't know if it's genuine leather or not, but I believe it is. I think that's really beautiful. Wow. To me, it has the perfect amount of pink. I don't know what I expected, but it's more green in person. In the camera, I guess it also kind of looks green. The orange is kind of standing out from some of these flowers, but it's very green. Like, it's pink, orange, and green. But because of the lining, I think it's just standing out to me as very green. Nothing wrong with that. I love green. It's just, I think I was expecting like something obnoxiously orange or obnoxiously pink. I wouldn't have minded pink, but I would have minded orange. Ooh, it is a YKK zipper. I don't even know what that means, but I keep saying it every time I get a case because everyone says YKK zippers are the bomb. So, oh, okay. What's with the... Did they seriously make a cutout just for the silica? Wow. Wow, this is so pretty. I think it is real leather. Oh, wow. Okay, it's lined on the inside with this like yellow champagne gold texture, kind of like a Weeks. And then we have this flattened zipper here. That's nice. That's also lined on the inside. I think of Sneaker Weeks. Is that what it's called? It's either a sneaker or a bow tie texture. Oh, this is very smooth. So far looking good. It says Hobonichi there, just hot foil pressed. And then on this side we have... What's this? Thank you for choosing the Hobonichi Techo as your paper companion for next year. In order to prolong the life of your product, here is some information to know before you use it. Avoid storing or using your product in hot, humid places. Cotton, linen, leather, and other natural material covers may stain if the material gets wet or rubs against something. Do not use benzene, solvents, or other alcohol-based cleansers. To avoid ripping or damage, do not lift the cover by bookmarks or pull the bookmarks too strongly. Leather may contain pre-existing wrinkles, stains, vein marks, or other markings. Over time, natural oils of the leather may emerge and appear as stains. We ask for your understanding for these naturally occurring characteristics of genuine leather. And I believe it is genuine leather because this case was like over $100. I was gonna buy more of the yellow notebooks, but I sacrificed a few of those to get this instead. And honestly, with the price increase that they just did, I don't think I would get it. This was like $105, which is still insane in my head. But the planner person in me took over. Okay, Liberty Fabrics. Liberty Fabrics was founded in London 1875 by Arthur L. Liberty as a shop that offers Eastern works of art for sale, eventually becoming what is now the Liberty Department Store. In order to bring highly popular silk material to wider audiences, the company developed their original Tana lawn cotton material, which feels and looks like silk and has a lightweight structure that allows it to drape beautifully. Liberty's textiles features intricate designs bursting with a gorgeous array of colors, making the brand one of the top trendsetters in the world. So Liberty Fabrics is pretty well known, and their fabric is not cheap, so that was part of the reason I would justify this case. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots. There's a pocket here. Oh, I still really like the lining on the inside. And this. I like that it's not exposed leather for once, even though I'm okay with that. And then we have a little pen loop that clearly won't hold any pens except for the clip. Let's try to put the Paddington in here. Please fit. Should we put it in the last one? I think we would put it in the last one so that you can still use that first flap. Okay, it's a little snug. I don't think it's meant to hold the other side. I don't even want to try. My justification for buying this was also that, like, I might be able to use it as a wallet when I'm traveling. I could just take my Hobonichi Weeks and a wallet. It's not bad. I don't like that the zipper kind of gets in the way, but you're not going to be inserting your notebook that often and sliding it out, I would hope. Just making sure it didn't like cut the thing. Let me try it with my Liberty fabrics from this year, just because since I'm almost done with it, I can be less cautious with it, dainty with it. So this is including the cover on cover. I think with the cover on cover, you'd have to use this pocket. Very, very snug with the cover on cover, but not undoable. Not like impossible. Oh wow. See, it's a very, very interesting texture. Like, you expect silk, or I expect silk, but then you touch it and you're like, what is this? But this feels a lot smoother than this. This is very rough and chalky. This is like rough, but this is very smooth. Well, I don't like that. What the heck? This almost feels like fabric that's catching on your hand, and this is just very buttery in comparison. Okay, well, whatever. I'm gonna put this in to the last one again and try to put it in. Does it do that? Does it? Oof. I don't want to damage my case. See, it's already like wrinkling up from me trying to insert both ends. I don't think it's made for that. I don't like that I'm bending this case and my cover so dramatically. If I remember correctly from the website, you're not supposed to try to put it in to both sides. So I don't know why I'm even trying. I think just to prove to you guys that it might be possible. Okay, I made it in there. And the verdict is that it doesn't want to be in there. You see this? Yeah, it doesn't want you to do that. So if you guys were curious, I just kind of damaged my case a little just to show you. Alright, well now we know. Even though I should have just listened to the Hobonichi website. Hopefully that didn't break the spine too much. I think I would like to have it on this side, like that. Not too bad. I'm gonna keep that open. And this open. I don't even know what I'm gonna use this for, actually. I think I just wanted a pretty case to hold my weeks. But I don't like that the notebook bookmarks interfere with the zipper. What the heck? Where would I put it then? Alright. It's actually pretty thick too, with a Hobonichi Weeks that's like 3/4 of the year through. So I don't know how much more you can fit in here. Like, we put some, I don't know, cash in here, maybe some cards, and maybe a pen. You know, I like my sailors. So let's see if we can put one in here. What exactly do they expect us to do with this? Like that, I guess. I know some people said that they don't like the zipper cases, and I can kind of see why. So I hope that I'm just able to, like, this really bothers me. I use the bookmarks. They're just gonna get caught in the zipper, and then oof, it's gonna scratch my, oh no, it's definitely gonna scratch. It's gonna scratch my Pro Gear Slim unless I push it in. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna keep it because I own it now. Unless it really bothers me, then I'll sell it. But I'm not a big fan of selling. But I'm also not a big fan of my pen getting scraped. A very beautiful pen. I'll have to figure out what pen I want to use in this. Alright, let's get this out of here. Okay, that's my cover. I don't know what to think. I think I wish it was more pink. It looks green. The zippers are kind of getting in the way of my pen. And the bookmarks, the leather feels really soft on this. I think I was just excited to have a cover because I see people unbox their fancy fabric covers and I wanted to be a part of it. That's probably just FOMO, right? Okay, we'll put that away later. But the thing that I wanted to do, because I know people were curious, is test the paper. I think I'm gonna compare this week's to the old weeks and then also compare the cousin with the old cousin or the A6 with the A6. I don't want this video to like last forever, but I do want to maybe hopefully calm some fears about this paper being bad with the bleed through and the feathering. So what matters to me the most is fountain pens, but I will also try a variety of pens if you guys are interested in those. If this video gets too long, I might have to make a part 2, but we'll see. I'm just gonna start with the graph paper. Oh, isn't that ironic? I turned to page 65 and 66. So one of the big issues with Sanzen for me this year was that the page on the front would be smooth sometimes and then the back of the page would be absolute crap. And well, let's do the comparison from 65, 65, 66. Okay, I'm gonna write it bigger so that you guys can see the comparison. This is 2024 weeks old paper cream. You can already feel the texture difference, and like I want to not feel the difference, you guys. I want it to work for me because the Hobonichi Cousin was my favorite planner. It was like planner piece for me. I think this is cream as well. We're gonna say S for Sanzen. So far with the Sakura Pigma Micron, I don't feel anything different. All right, moment of truth. Sailor Pro Gear Slim. This is a medium fine with Pilot Blue. One thing I noticed about Sanzen paper was I wasn't allowed to put as much pressure anymore with my writing because it would kind of stab through the paper. And what I thought I had noticed in my 2022 and 2023 Hobonichis were like I didn't have to change my angle or my pressure, and it would withstand stabbing of the pages maybe like 4 to 5 like passes before it would poke a hole in the paper, whereas with Sanzen it was like 2 passes would poke a hole in the paper. Sailor, whoa, holy crap, do you guys see the difference? Is it because I was talking? No. Oh my god, that's a huge difference. This is like a medium instead of a medium fine. Sailor Pro, and I'm not pressing any harder. Gear Slim, medium fine with Pilot Blue. Whoa. Okay, this might not be helpful for me because I didn't have as much trouble with Sanzen on a small surface. Like if I was only writing blurbs. It was when I was long form journaling in the Hobonichi Cousin that I would run into the drag and be very upset and get carpal tunnel and cramps. And now I'm at a table where it's kind of awkward, so I probably won't even get the full experience for myself, but at least you guys will see like concerns that you might have, including feathering, bleed through, and ink. For like the thing that I just noticed is how much ink is coming out of my pen. This is insane. This is a very wet ink, a pretty wet ink. Can you guys tell? Like, to me, this is at least 1 nib size up from that. I hope you can tell. Or just trust my word for it. Like, these lines are thinner, and these were instantly thicker. And I actually enjoy that. If you don't like a true fine nib like me, then you might enjoy the new paper for that. But just know that the ink will spread more, I guess, with the new paper so far. Okay, I'm gonna go through some more pens. I might just go through all of my inked ones. It'll be a currently inked video. This is the Lamy Safari. This one was very, very wet already with mystery green ink. I didn't want to put my palm on this because maybe like hand oils affect stuff. Lamy Safari. Yeah. instant, like that looks like broad to me. Instantly notice that the line width of my writing is thicker, and that was a little rougher to write. But these were both very wet inks. I got so upset about having all these pens that didn't work in my cousin that I kind of switched to all these pens with wetter inks. So that might not help our case, but here is Platinum Preppy with the 0.3 nib with Pilot. I think this was Iroshi, Zuku, Sui, Gyoku. Platinum. Yeah, I noticed it with the Platinum too. Platinum Preppy 0.3 with Pilot, Hiroshi, Zuku, Sui, Gyoku. I definitely feel more resistance from this paper now, even though it's a little bit of a minor thing. We already did a Lamy nib, so maybe we don't want to do that. Of Kaweco Sport Double Broad with Diamine Solar Storm. So this is like very smooth, almost losing my control. And then this one, oh my god, I can't believe. Okay, there's definitely more drag. I was gonna do a comparison between the old Hobonichi A6 and the new A6, but I think this Weeks pretty much tells us what the old paper feels like anyways. So let me just find a blank page here, because I just remembered the reason some people are kind of concerned is because they're saying their 2024 Sanzen was perfectly fine, but the 2025 Sanzen is not. I try not to have empty pages. That's why it's so hard to find any to write on. And I want one where it's kind of like this, where I can test both sides. Darn it. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna do this again. 24 weeks. Oh no, sorry. This is the A6 Han Sanzen paper. A little drier. This feels the buttery smoothest. This is like one level below it, and this is like the driest paper I've ever experienced. So, interesting. Sailor, Pro, Gear, Slim, MF with Pilot Blue. Okay, it might just be me, but I swear the right page is smoother than the left page. But it might be because of mental things. Instantly you can tell, or at least I can tell, that the font size is closer to the old paper than it is to the newest. What else did we do? We did a Lamy. So this one definitely feels like an in-between the old paper and the new, the 2025 Sanzen. Platinum Preppy 0.3 with Pilot, Hiroshi, Zuku, Sui, Gyoku. You guys, I just realized this is not cream paper, so that might have an effect on it. And I'm sorry, I don't have 2024 weeks with the Sanzen paper, so I apologize for that. Kaweco Sport BB with Diamine Solar Storm. I want to do 2 more fountain pens because, I don't know, I feel like maybe it would help. This one is the Benu Briolet with a medium nib and Waringle 12 Night. It has a Schmidt nib. This is the Benu. Oh, Briolet medium. Waringle. It's not as smooth, but for me, I like that it kind of takes the ink and spreads it out a little more. Interesting. Benu Briolet with, this one's the hardest one to write on, 12th. Like, I feel like I'm pressing harder for the ink to come out because it's like not legible. Like, can you see that it's struggling? Like, I'm applying more pressure because I want more ink on the page. I think I'm starting to like this one more than that. So in comparison to last year, 2024, this year, this one is thicker, the new one. In comparison to the old paper, old paper, this one is thicker. What the heck? I mean, if you guys weren't convinced with the first several, you should be by now that it is different. This is gonna be an awkward angle, so it might affect the writing. But here's my Pilot 742 with FA Graphome Faber-Castell Carbon Black. Okay, This one is the Pilot Custom 742 with FA GVFC carbon. Very dry paper. I don't like it. Whoa, why do I keep saying that? It's because it surprises me so much. Pilot Custom 742 with FA GVSC okay, no. Carbon, not Garbon. Black. It's like, I don't know. I like the new Sanzen. Is it noticeable? I hope you guys can tell that the new 2025 Sanzen, it makes your font larger. This to me is just straight garbage. It's like the same, almost same consistency, but the flow is very, very dry and it makes me angry. And then this one makes me less angry. It makes me feel surprised. So, and I do wonder if it's the cream paper too. This one's rough, this one's smooth, this one's smooth. I was wondering if there was a difference between the front and the back of the page too, because we had known about that issue. Okay, let's do the jet stream. I'm gonna do black. Pilot. Oh no, this is the Hobonichi 2025 pen. I think I remember why I don't like this pen. It's a uni jet stream. It's because it writes so thin, but I can see why people like it because you can fit your font in the tiny grids. Hobocho. Oh, it's not bad in the 2024 Sanzen, but it does feel a little, you have more control. Moment of truth. Hobonichi Techo 2025 pen uni jet stream. Not terrible. I don't notice much with gel pens or anything like that. I wish there was an easier way to do this besides just going through all of this. This is a Pentel Sign brush pen. I think the pen's just running out, but zebra mouth liner, very dry. Brighter, might be because of the white paper. Not terrible. A little more drag than this one. And I think it's brighter than the previous. I was gonna do a whole bunch of pens, but I think I'll just do common ones now. Here's a Pentel Energel. At some point, I was so frustrated with my paper in the Sterling ink that I just switched to a Pentel Energel. I seriously think with every pen that this new 2025 paper is making the ink spread out more. This one is thinner, this one's thicker, this one's thinner. Like here's 2024 old paper, 2024 Sanzen paper, and 2025, I don't know. This one was smoother, like almost losing your control. That one's rougher, and then this one was in between for this Pentel Energel. We're gonna do a Tombow brush pen. This is a Tombow dual brush pen. I don't mind it for any of these. What I did notice when I first bought a Hobonichi was I was very impressed with how pens wrote on top of a highlight, and it was with a Pentel, so I'm gonna try that. Testing the highlight. It was like so crazy smooth on this. I was so happy. Testing the highlight. It's okay. Testing the highlight. That's good too. Not crazy smooth, but not bad. What else? Like I said earlier, I have a lot of pens, but I'm gonna skip around because we don't have all night. This one is ballpoint, straight garbage. The old one, ballpoint, still kind of garbage, and ballpoint. Still kind of garbage in my head. I'm biased against ballpoint pens. And then I'm gonna do a Sharpie. This is a metallic Sharpie. I'm just gonna do the one side of the page because they're so inconsistent with Sanzen 2024. Anyways, it doesn't really even matter. And I'm running out of space, so wow, that's very smooth. Okay, Sharpie works. The ones that I noticed that bled the most in the original Tomoe River paper were these. This Deco Color, calligraphy, metallic thing, Deco Color. Here's Deco Color and Deco Color. Gosh, I have so many pens that I want to test, but I just shouldn't. This one's oily. Y, O-O-L-Y, O-O-L-Y. Like, I don't have all the time, and I feel like you guys are probably gone. I don't know. This one is Posca. Oh shit. Damn it. Okay, well, one of my favorite things about the original paper was it could hold a bunch of liquid on the page and be perfectly fine. So maybe we can try that. Posca. This might not be the best application because most of the liquid went onto that one. But one thing that I did want to try because I use it so often is a swatching of fountain pen ink. The Jacques Herbin Emerald de Chevar is one of my favorite inks to test because it has sheen, shading, shimmer. And also because it's a pretty awesome ink. So hopefully most of you guys have this ink. And I want to test it on this paper because I do my ink swatching so often on my Hobonichis. Should I shake it up again? I probably should have shook it between the other one as well. Okay. One of the first things that I noticed when I swatched in the A6 down here was that with this nib, the Kakimori steel nib, if I put too much pressure down, I was cutting into the paper. And I had not noticed that with the old paper. So we'll see. I know once I used a lighter hand, it stopped cutting the paper. So it's probably a good thing to train myself to not do that, but it was a little annoying to have to like be mindful of my writing. Jacques Herbin Emerald de Chevar. I'm once again noticing that the ink spreads so much on this. Okay, I don't want to get my Paddington cover dirty, but here we go. All right, I've given it some time. Not too much because the Posca paint pen hasn't even dried, but time for the bleed through check. This is the 2024 old Tomoe River paper. Not bad. The only thing that bled through was the Oli. Very nice. Let's check this side. Okay. The only thing that's close to bleeding through is this Posca paint and definitely the Jacques Herbin, which I remember like large swatches used to bleed through in the old Hobonichi cousin, and then a little bit of the sprinkling there. Okay, feathering essentially non-existent in my opinion, unless you guys can see something. 2024 A6 Sanzen paper, white. For me, I also did not really experience any feathering, unless you guys can tell. Back of the page, nothing really except for the Oli, and that Sharpie was threatening to come through. And then on this side, we just had the Pentel Energel was threatening to come through a little, but I might have pressed pretty hard for that. The Posca looks ready to come through, and the Jacques Herbin. So the only comparison we have is the Jacques Herbin. That's what that one looks like. I'm trying to not touch things because everything's still not dry, but it was like, here's that. So it's a little less. And then finally, the brand new 2025 Weeks cream paper Sanzen. For me, I don't see feathering. Let's see. The only thing that really bled through was the Oli, but the Sailor and the fountain pens up top, this one's about to come through. And the imprint is definitely stronger, which I didn't think was possible. Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. Yikes. Okay, nothing too bad. There was the Graf von Faber-Castell from the pilot. The Posca paint pen wants to come through, and there's a little smidget of that. But that Jacques Herbin, it doesn't even like my dip pen writing, and that is awful. That is just awful. Because old paper, 24 Sanzen, 25 Sanzen. Yikes. Okay, so don't use it for your swatching inks, I guess. My fountain pens did pretty okay. This is kind of how they did last year, or 2024. Not terrible. And this is how they're doing way back when. You could almost see through more of it. Ghosting, that's what that's called. Ghosting. Less ghosting. The least amount of ghosting in the 2024 Sanzen. and then probably some more in the 2025 and a little bit in the old. Yeah, okay. Let me think. I'm gonna put my pencil board down because I don't like the things to smear. But yeah, this is the old paper, and the ghosting wasn't terrible. Bleed through wasn't terrible. Wasn't amazing. The feathering was non-existent. And then in the 2024 Sanzen, the bleed through was the least amount. The ghosting was the least amount. The feathering was non-existent for me. And yeah. And then in the 2025 Sanzen, I think the ghosting is pretty similar to the original. This one might be worse. But the bleed through is just embarrassing. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? You know? No more ink swatches. Well, that helps me because I was gonna think about maybe using this as a ink swatching book, and now I definitely won't. But I was just gonna use it like as a health tracker anyways, so it should be fine for me. If anything, I'm a little excited about it because it was so smooth to write on compared to this one. And, you know, goodbye for this. And then, of course, like, I'm like wondering if we try different pages, like more in the weeklies, would that change my experience, you know? Instead of just the grid paper, it might be different. Also, I mean, swatches are hard to compare, but let's see. This swatch was the original, and we have our sheen, our shimmer, and all that jazz. In this one, the hone, we also had our sheen, shimmer, and all that. And now in this one, we have our sheen on the little edge. It's harder to tell the sheen, and then you still see the shimmer. The color is also a little different, but that might also have been my swatch. So, I don't know. Okay, that's it for the notebook comparisons. I'm gonna put this away, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is compare the notebooks that I bought. The plain graph ones. So this is the notebook that I bought prior to September 1st, and that was when they still had differentiations between Tomoe River Paper S versus just Tomoe River Paper. So your notebooks did have the original, and I did do a paper test in here. It was the night of the Hobonichi launch, and I was like calculating how much it costs and everything. But okay, you guys know how much it costs. It's fine. I was like trying to get myself to free shipping. I don't know what this was. Whatever, don't look at my math. The final paper test, instant yes, Paddington Weeks, $23, whatever. Because I had gone to Barnes & Noble and I was feeling the paper. This will be my control. These are the new notebooks that I bought from September 1st. They have the same serial number, so we're gonna just go ahead and test it with a fountain pen. I mean, obviously, we don't know if any of these new notebooks have the old paper or not. And I have a freaking stack of them now. And honestly, I feel like the only way to know is to test it, because touching it is just not working. Like, it's so hard to tell after a while. And, like, I swear the red graph is rougher, but the purple one is so smooth. And the green is rougher, but the blue one is nicer. Whatever. I'm gonna grab a pen. I think I'm just gonna do the sailor pen because I love my sailors. And someone mentioned that maybe the reason I find so much drag in the Sanzen paper is because I do long form journaling and with Sanzen and with my sailor nibs. So that might be the reason that I so often find them annoying, is because I'm always using a sailor. The covers feel the same. I think it smells the same. Oh, it smells different. Alright, this is getting crazy. Let's just write in it. I think this paper is drier. Alright, the only way we'll know is writing. So, here we go. I like to do it in the back because it makes me feel like I didn't ruin the whole notebook. This one looks darker. So today is 9/10/24. Sailor Pro Gear Slim with a pilot blue. Oh my god, I'm a little nervous because I bought so many of these and it was going to be my plan to just DIY my Hobonichi cousin. 9/10/24. I can't tell. Does that mean it's the same? It looks like this one, it feels a little harder to write with, but it wasn't as noticeably larger, so it's not the 2025 Sanzen. I feel crazy doing these paper tests all night. I think they're the same, but I'm not fully sure. But I definitely feel a little crazy. So, should I find a different pen? I brought back the Benu Briolet wearing 12 night. I think the paper's the same. Somehow this one feels better though. I'm gonna open this one too. Personally, I feel like the paper should still be the same for these plain yellow ones and the botanical ones, because I don't know when they would run out of Tomoe River #7 paper, but I thought they would tell us, and then I actually emailed Hobonichi directly to ask them which of their products still had the old paper, and they responded saying that they were no longer going to differentiate for us. So that was kind of a bummer. This feels like the old one. This feels more like the old one than the yellow one does. That's what I experienced at Barnes & Noble. Honestly, like, I don't really care about anything. I just want it to not cramp my hands. And I think it's doing the job. I think this notebook, especially the botanical ones, I think we're okay. This one, I'm like 90% sure is the same. Hey, we don't even know if that one is. Do I need to do it? Oh my god. Give me a second. I feel crazy doing these paper tests all night. Yeah, this one is very pleasant to write on. So I'm glad I bought like 10 of these. Benu wearing 12th night. Bleed through check. No bleed through, but a bit of ghosting. Definitely a lot of ghosting. And ghosting, no bleed through. Do I want to do an ink swatch? I don't really feel like doing an ink swatch tonight. This is the last one I'm gonna try. This is my ink journal, and I definitely bought this in 23 along with my Hobonichi order. So there should be no reason to even doubt that this is the old paper. Look at the bleed through. Like, it was never good bleed through for swatches, to be honest. But I still really enjoyed the paper. So I think if you guys have the gripe about bleed through, maybe test your old paper to see if it did that before. But let me just check real quick. Somehow this is writing even better than everything else. Yeah, I think it's all the same. So I'm very happy. I don't know if I would risk it by another batch, because I don't even know if those other notebooks that I have laying over there are all going to be this paper without opening them and testing them. But I'm still sticking with the DIYing my cousin for this year, because I was just so frustrated with the cousin I had in 2024 that I don't want to risk it again. If it's like the Weeks paper for 2025, then I might be okay with it. But I'm gonna wait for other people to review, because I can't spend any more money on this. Also, there might be something different with the cream paper and the white paper, because I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but the cream paper, okay, there's a big difference. But the cream paper was always smoother than the white paper in the Hobonichi cousin. Alright, that's enough for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, especially if you were concerned about the paper. I don't know if it made you feel any better. If you get carpal tunnel like me, there might be less drag in your Hobonichi Weeks for 2025. If you're swatching ink, it might be worse for you. And yeah, if you're doing like heavy applications of ink, it might be worse for you. Otherwise, if you're like doing day-to-day stuff, I think you'll be okay. I will definitely be setting up these planners for 2025. If you are interested, make sure you follow along and subscribe. Until then, here is a video I did last year to set up 2024 that is probably still just as applicable now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye!